Picture this. You're a woman who's been in relationships that felt like they were destined to soar. The conversations flowed effortlessly. The chemistry was undeniable. And you both dreamed of a shared future. But then, something shifts. He starts to pull back. Maybe emotionally, maybe physically. Or worse, he stays, but feels distant, like a shadow of the man you thought you knew. You're left grappling with questions. What makes a man truly fall in love? What ignites that profound, unshakable connection that goes beyond fleeting attraction or comfortable routines? Many women believe love is built through effort, through nurturing, showing devotion, or being the perfect partner. And while those things matter, there's a deeper truth, one that Carl Jung's wisdom unveils. Love doesn't start on the surface. It begins in the unseen depths of the psyche. What sparks true love in a man isn't always what you say or do. It's not about perfect gestures or constant attention. It's about what you represent in his inner world, in the quiet energy you carry when you're simply you. When you stop striving to be chosen, when you let go of the need to prove your worth, something extraordinary happens. You become unforgettable. This isn't some mystical trick. It's psychology at its core. Jung described it as archetypal projection, where a man doesn't just fall for who you are, but for what you awaken in his unconscious mind. There's a moment when he looks at you and sees more than a person. He sees a symbol, a spark, something that both challenges and captivates him. Have you ever felt like someone couldn't let go of you, even though you weren't trying to hold their attention? Maybe they returned after months or years, drawn back for reasons they couldn't explain. If you've experienced this, drop "I stirred something" in the comments below and share your story. It might reveal more than you realize. Here's the paradox. Men don't fall in love with what they can easily understand. They're drawn to what they can't fully grasp, what disrupts their inner world and makes them question themselves. When a woman embraces her truth, when she refuses to betray herself just to keep him, her presence becomes magnetic. Not because she's trying to be alluring, but because she's rooted in her own authenticity. If this resonates with you, if you want to dive deeper into these psychological insights, hit that subscribe button for side effects and turn on notifications. We're exploring the hidden layers of connection, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. But here's where many women stumble. Instead of trusting their own essence, they try to mold themselves into what they think he wants. They dim their light, soften their edges, or chase his approval. And in doing so, the spark that first drew him fades. Not because the love is gone, but because the mystery, the untamed energy that captivated him, has been buried. Jung taught us that what we suppress shapes our destiny. When a woman hides her true self, her energy stops resonating with his soul. And here's the fascinating part. He may not even understand why he can't stop thinking about her. Her image lingers, like a melody he can't shake, even after she's gone. Why? Because when a woman embodies an archetype he hasn't yet integrated, she becomes a mirror reflecting parts of himself he's never faced. For the first time, he sees his own soul, and no one forgets the mirror that reveals them to themselves. Jung's insight is almost poetic. We don't love people just for who they are, but for what they awaken in us. When a woman, without effort, becomes a symbol in a man's unconscious, she stirs something ancient, something primal. It's not just physical attraction, it's a pull that touches buried emotions, forgotten dreams, and unhealed wounds. A Man might meet countless women in his life. Some make him smile. Some stand by him through storms. Some share years of memories. But there's always one who lingers, not because she was the most flawless or the most beautiful, but because she was unapologetically herself. She didn't chase validation. She didn't bend to please him. She chose herself, not out of arrogance, but out of quiet conviction. That woman becomes a figure of mythic proportions in his psyche, a manifestation of his anima, the feminine essence within him that he hasn't yet embraced. Here's the curious twist. Most women don't realize when they're playing this role. They don't see the impact they're having because they're not trying to make an impression. They're simply living in alignment with their truth, radiating an authenticity that's both grounding and disruptive. For a man used to superficial connections or relationships built on expectations, this is earth-shaking. He doesn't fall in love with her words or her appearance alone. He falls for what she reflects back to him, a part of himself he's never dared to explore. And that can be terrifying. Deep love isn't always comfortable. It's transformative. It demands introspection, vulnerability, and change. That's why some men pull away just when they start to feel something real. Not because they don't care, but because they're not ready to face the intensity of what she's awakened. They're not running from her. They're running from themselves. If you've ever felt pushed away, not because of anything you did, but because of the power of your presence, share your experience in the comments. Write, "I was the mirror," and tell us your story. It might help someone else see their own truth. When a woman stops chasing love and starts embodying her own essence, her energy shifts. It's not about being aloof or playing games. It's about a quiet, unshakable strength that says, "I am enough." To the masculine psyche, this is both an invitation and a challenge. Jung believed that what we haven't integrated within ourselves, we seek outside. So when a man meets a woman who embodies qualities he hasn't yet developed, emotional freedom, intuition, depth, he's both drawn to her and unsettled by her. She reflects a void he's avoided, a part of himself he's never confronted. This discomfort often sparks obsession, not with her as a person, but with what she represents. He's chasing the feeling of wholeness she awakened, the sense of something missing that he can't quite name. That's why some men can't let go, even years later. Her memory isn't just a person, it's a before and after, a moment when his emotional world cracked open. But here's the tragedy. Many men don't know how to process this. They haven't been taught to look inward, to heal their own wounds. So they turn outward, seeking distractions, new relationships, or achievements, to fill the void. But nothing fits, because what they lost wasn't just a woman. It was a chance for transformation. What makes her unforgettable isn't perfection, but authenticity. It's the way she left, not with drama or desperation, but with dignity. She didn't beg or cling. She closed the door quietly, honoring herself. That act leaves a mark on the masculine soul, a lesson that lingers long after she's gone. Have you ever felt like your choice to walk away was mistaken for indifference, when really it was your way of protecting your peace? Drop "I chose myself" in the comments and share your story. Your truth could inspire someone else to do the same. In the unconscious, there's no line between the real and the symbolic. Jung saw this as a fundamental truth of the human psyche. When a woman becomes a symbol in a man's mind, she transcends being just a person. She becomes an echo, a reflection, a spark that keeps burning. What he misses isn't just her presence, it's the feeling she stirred, the glimpse of his own soul she revealed. In her absence, His mind replays moments, idealizes gestures, and searches for answers. But nothing brings back that original spark. Because what he's chasing isn't her. It's the inner world she illuminated, a place he can only access by looking within. This is where the real journey begins. For a man, losing a woman who embodied this kind of energy can be a turning point. At first, he might try to move on the way he always has. New relationships, distractions, denial. But this time, something's different. The void she left isn't just emotional, it's existential. It forces him to ask questions he's never faced. Why did her absence hurt so deeply? What part of me was I seeking through her? These questions crack the facade he's built. The image of the man who's always in control, who never falls too hard, who always knows the answers. In that vulnerability, he begins to see himself not as the conqueror, but as a human being, touched by something deeper than he expected. For the woman, this moment is just as profound. If you've ever walked away from someone who couldn't see your worth, if you've chosen yourself even when it hurt, know this: your departure wasn't invisible. It planted a seed, one that grows in silence. Maybe he never told you. Maybe he never fully understood it, but your energy left a mark, not on his ego, but on his soul. If you've ever felt like your presence shifted someone's world, even if they never said it out loud, share "I left a spark" in the comments. Your story might be the light someone else needs. As time passes, something shifts in him. It's not dramatic or loud. It's a quiet awakening. He stops chasing her in memories or seeking her in others. He begins to understand what she represented, not just a person, but a mirror to his own unclaimed potential. Jung called this individuation, the process of becoming whole by integrating the parts of ourselves we've ignored. For him, this journey often starts with loss, with the absence of someone who showed him what he could become. Her silence, her autonomy, her refusal to stay where she wasn't valued. It wasn't rejection. It was a gift. It showed him the instability of his inner world and invited him to rebuild. This transformation isn't easy. Many men resist it, clinging to old patterns, trying to bury the discomfort. But the soul doesn't forget. Once it's been touched, there's no going back. Some men pause, reflect, and start asking deeper questions about their past, their fears, their need for control. They begin to see the patterns they've repeated, the wounds they've ignored, and slowly they realize it wasn't her they needed to hold on to. It was the truth she reflected. This is the moment when healing begins, not through denial, but through acceptance, through the courage to face what's been avoided. For you, the woman listening, maybe you've felt misunderstood, like your strength was seen as coldness, or your boundaries as distance. If so, know that your choice to honor yourself was never wasted. Drop. I stood in my truth in the comments and share how you chose yourself. It might be the encouragement someone else needs. As he moves forward, he no longer sees her as the one who got away. She becomes a symbol of his awakening, a reminder that love isn't about possession, but about shared authenticity. He starts to treat himself differently, to listen to his own heart, to seek connection from a place of wholeness rather than lack. In this new chapter, her memory doesn't hurt anymore. It shines. She wasn't a loss. She was a catalyst, a lighthouse guiding him back to himself. And for you, the woman who loved fiercely but refused to stay where you weren't seen, know this: your energy was never invisible. You left a mark, not because you tried to, but because you lived your truth. If this story stirred something in you, if you've ever been the spark in someone's awakening or felt the weight of choosing yourself, share "I made a difference" in the comments. Your voice could be the mirror someone else needs today. If this message touched you, subscribe to Side Effects and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next dive into the psychology of connection. Share this video with someone who's ready to love from a place of freedom, not fear. Let's keep exploring what it means to live and love authentically, together.